The HOA president thought they humiliated me when they towed my grandpa's truck. But hidden inside that insult was the mistake that would soon leave the HOA president standing helpless in the street, watching her own power collapse. It started with a look of pure disgust. Linda, the HOA president, stood inches from my face, eyes cold, voice sharp. She pointed at my vintage Chevy and said it was ugly, a stain, something that didn't belong in a respectable neighborhood. Then she leaned in and delivered the line she thought would end the conversation forever. Get a better car or get out. I stared at her, calm, quiet. Okay, Linda, you want a better car? You got it. She smiled like she'd won. What she didn't realize, I wasn't planning to fight her rules. I was planning to obey them in the most painful way possible. See, that truck wasn't junk to me. It was my grandfather's, a 1985 Chevy pickup that carried his sweat, his weekends, his stories. Yeah, the paint was fading. Yeah, there was rust on the fenders. But I rebuilt that engine bolt by bolt, every weekend, every scraped knuckle. It ran better than anything parked on that street. Linda didn't care. Every morning, like clockwork, there it was, a bright pink violation slip slapped on my windshield. Section 4, remove immediately. I tried doing this the right way. At the HOA board meeting, I laid it all out. It's registered, insured, legal. You can't make me move it. She didn't even look up, just rolled her eyes, scribbled something in her notebook. Dismissed me like I was nothing. Then came last Tuesday. I pulled into my street after a long shift at work, and my driveway was empty. No truck, no warning, no mercy. My chest tightened, my hands shook. I didn't even go inside. I marched straight to Linda's house and pounded on her door. She opened it slowly, holding a glass of wine, wearing that smug smile that tells you someone thinks they're untouchable. "Oh, Alex," she said sweetly, "I did you a favor. I had that pile of scrap metal towed." Then she lowered her voice. "If you want it back, it's at the impound lot, $500 plus storage." She took a sip of wine and whispered the threat she thought would break me. "If you bring it back, I'll tow it again and again until you're broke." I walked away, shaking. Not from fear, from rage. She stole my property, and she thought she'd won. She thought I'd fold, buy some boring commuter car, disappear into compliance. That night, I sat at my kitchen table staring at the towing ticket. $500. I wasn't going to pay it. Not yet. I needed something better than revenge. I needed malicious compliance. Linda said my truck was ugly, too fragile, not solid enough. So I opened my laptop and fell down a rabbit hole of federal transportation law. That's when I found it. A loophole so perfect, so legal, so devastating. Civilians can own armored military vehicles. No weapons, rubber tires, mirrors, turn signals. Fully street legal. And here's the part Linda never saw coming. The HOA bylaws banned commercial vehicles and RVs, but said nothing about historical military transports. I leaned back in my chair and smiled. Because now I knew exactly what kind of better car I was going to buy. And Linda was about to meet it face to face. What kind of vehicle makes police officers laugh and an HOA president completely lose control? I found it at 2 in the morning, deep on a government surplus auction site. There she was, a 6x6 tactical transport from 1996. 20 tons, 40,000 pounds of hardened steel, bulletproof glass, tires taller than Linda herself. My finger hovered over the mouse. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I placed the bid. 5 seconds passed. 10. Sold. The next morning, I walked into the DMV like I was buying a used sedan. The clerk flipped through the paperwork, paused, looked at me, then back at the screen. "Is this for a movie?" she asked. I smiled. "No, ma'am. Neighborhood watch." She didn't laugh. She stamped the papers. Plates, registration, insurance, all approved. By Friday night, I was ready. Saturday morning, 8 a.m. The neighborhood was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of calm HOA presidents love. Then the ground started to shake. Not a little vibration, a deep, rolling tremor. Coffee cups rattled inside kitchens, car alarms chirped in panic. And then it appeared. A massive flatbed trailer crawled around the corner, swallowing the entire street. Sitting on top of it was a dark green monster made of steel and intimidation. I signed the delivery papers, climbed up into the driver's seat, and turned the key. The engine didn't purr, it roared, like a jet waking up. I eased it backward into my driveway, barely fit. The tires crushed the edge of my lawn. I didn't care. It looked perfect. That's when I heard screaming. Linda burst out of her house in a bathrobe, hair wild, voice cracking. "Alex, what have you done? This is a residential area. You brought a tank into my subdivision?" I climbed down from the cab, a 6-foot drop, smiled. "Good morning, Linda. You told me to upgrade my ride. Do you like the color?" She didn't answer. She called 911. 2 police cruisers arrived fast, lights flashing, hands on holsters. Then they saw me and relaxed. I handed the sergeant everything: registration, insurance, federal law printout. He checked the lights, the tires, the plates. Then he turned to Linda, trying and failing to hide a grin. "Ma'am, it's legal. Registered as a collector's item. He's allowed to park here. There's nothing we can do." Linda's face turned purple. "If you won't remove it," she screamed, "I will." She called a private towing company and lied. Told them she needed a large truck removed. An hour later, a heavy-duty tow truck rolled in. The driver stepped out, looked up at the armored transport, then slowly turned to Linda. "Lady," he said carefully, "that thing weighs 40,000. And that's when Linda cut him off, setting in motion a mistake that no tow truck on earth was built to survive. "Just do it," Linda snapped, waving her checkbook like a weapon. "Drag it into the street, I'll pay whatever it costs." That sentence was the exact moment the laws of physics decided to enter the HOA meeting. The tow driver hesitated. He glanced at his truck, then at the armored monster in my driveway. "My winch is rated for 10,000, he muttered. Linda didn't care. She shoved the checkbook closer to his face. "Money isn't the problem. Do it." Greed won. He wrapped thick steel chains around the front bumper of the tank. Each link clanked heavy and loud, echoing down the street. I stepped onto my porch, sat down, bowl of popcorn in hand, front row seats. I couldn't help myself. "Hey," I called out, "you're gonna break your truck." He ignored me. The engine revved. Hydraulics whined. The chains snapped tight. Clang. The tow truck screamed like it was in pain. Black smoke poured from the exhaust. But the tank, it didn't move. Not an inch. Not a millimeter. It just sat there, like a mountain. And then, physics took over. Since the tank refused to budge, the only thing left to move was the tow truck itself. Slowly, almost beautifully, the front wheels lifted off the asphalt. Higher, higher, like something out of a bad action movie. The driver's eyes went wide. He slammed the emergency release. Crash! The tow truck slammed back down, blowing out its own front suspension in a shower of metal and dust. Silence. Then, yelling. The driver jumped out, furious, ripped the chains off, threw them onto the ground. He got right in Linda's face. "You owe me for a new suspension," he shouted, "and I'm not touching that thing again without a military crane." Linda didn't scream this time. She just stood there, staring at the bill, defeated. The tank stayed right where it was, in my driveway, blocking the sun from her porch, and every single time she looks at it, she remembers. Don't mess with an engineer. And if you think Linda deserved that lesson, hit like and subscribe, because next time I'll tell you what happened when she tried to cut down my fence.